Hello and welcome to another episode of Outsmart Charles. I'm Charles Bennett. Tonight, three contestants will once again try, and probably fail, to outsmart me in another game of Outsmart Charles. Let's take a look at tonight's categories. American cities, British history, It's Not Easy Being Green, music, Charles is more famous than Charles Bennett, Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Let's talk about sex, baby. Stuff you may or may not have read in high school. And of course, dead white guys. Okay, Amie, where would you like to go first?
Charles is more famous than Charles.
Charles is more famous than Charles Bennett. Wait, there aren't any. Are there? This man was the first to fly solo across the Atlantic.
Pass.
Sorry.
I have no idea.
Alyssa for the steal.
Well, since it's a statement, not a question, my first thought was, who is Lindbergh? But Charles Lindbergh would be my answer.
That's correct.
I was expecting questions, darn it.
Oh, and you do not have to phrase the answer in the form of a question. And questions are questions, answers are answers.
That's not a question. It's a statement. This man is the first to fly across the Atlantic.
This heavy-set basketball player won the NBA MVP in 1993 and later became a commentator for TNT.
Charles Magic. I don't know if that's a name.
It's not.
I tried.
It's not.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say Barkley.
Charles Barkley is correct. This Massachusetts senator and radical Republican had his head bashed in on the Senate floor, earning him a place on one printing of the $500 bill.
Pass.
Same.
Tony.
Pass. I don't know.
I'm sorry, the correct answer was Charles Sumner. Okay, Alyssa, do you want to pick a category?
American cities.
This largest California city's original name has the words El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora La Reina de in it, but most people just call it this.
LA.
That's correct.
Another
This
shot in the dark.
Massachusetts settlement was founded by the Pilgrims in 1620.
Plymouth.
That's correct. Albany was at one end of the Erie Canal. This city on Lake Erie was at the other.
Pass.
Tony.
Pass.
Amie.
Pass.
Nobody gonna chime in and say Buffalo. Buffalo. Home of one end of the Erie Canal and the Buffalo Bills. Tony, it's your turn to pick a category.
Let's do Voles, Vos, Chocher, Avec, Moi, Cassor.
That's Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
That was close.
And Tony, since this category is about French, mispronouncing the name of the category does not go particularly well for you.
Oh, man.
How do you say annoyed grunt in French?
This English verb is parler in French and hablar in Spanish.
To speak?
That's correct. This French verb means to hear. A double one can be heard normally or sexually.
Oui. I don't know.
I'm sorry, that's not anywhere near close. Amie.
Pass.
Alyssa.
Écoute is to listen. To hear, I don't remember. Pass.
Okay. Refer to when you have a phrase that is heard normally or sexually. It is a double entendre.
Oh.
This French word means already, with or without the all over again.
Pass.
Amie,
Pass.
Alyssa,
Déjà.
Deja is correct. Okay, let's take a look at those scores. With 3 categories down, Alyssa has 45, Tony has 4, and Amie is 1 in the hole. I believe that it's Amie's board right now.
Stuff you may or may not have read in high school.
This book features a woman ostracized due to her sexual dalliances with Chillingworth and Dimsdale.
The Scarlet Letter?
That's correct. Number 10 in this series of documents notes that the new U.S. Constitution will prevent factions from controlling the government.
The letters, what's his name wrote? Benjamin Franklin?
I'm sorry. We can't accept that. A, we need the name, and B, these weren't written by Benjamin Franklin.
Okay, I got it wrong then.
Good. Alyssa,
The Federalist Papers.
that's
Maybe.
correct. It is the Federalist Papers.
I was on the wrong track.
How do you
I
write
mean,
like you're running out of time?
Well, what happens is you write a song about Ben Franklin and it gets cut from the musical, and the Decemberists write a cover of it. This Sandra Cisneros novel is a coming-of-age story of a Hispanic family in Chicago.
Pass.
Alyssa,
Pass.
Tony.
Pass.
Okay, that is The House on Mango Street. Ironically, a couple of these I have taught to middle schoolers. So congratulations. There are things that middle schoolers I have taught have read, and apparently you haven't. And Alyssa, it's now your board.
Music.
This pop great's #1 hits include Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Billie Jean.
Britney Spears.
No. Thought this was an easy one. Tony?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. The interval between middle C and C5 is known as one of these.
Octave.
That's correct. On Halloween, you're likely to hear Blank and Fugue in D minor by J.S. Bach.
Pass.
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 Yada-dun, yada-dun-dun, yada-dun, dun, dun, dun. No, that's not a canon. That wasn't Bach. That was Pachelbel. No, that is Toccata and Fugue in D minor. Whose board is it? I think it's Tony.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
This category concerns people who founded religious sects, and some of those sects had more sex than others. Martin Luther was the founder of this religious movement.
Protestant?
Yes, and we also would have accepted Lutheranism. Siddhartha was the founder of this religious movement.
Sikhism?
No.
Oh,
Pass.
Alyssa.
Hinduism.
No. Siddhartha. The other name for Siddhartha is Buddha.
Buddhism.
Was the founder of Buddhism. Mary Baker Eddy was the founder and discoverer of this religious movement.
Pass.
Amie.
Pass.
Alyssa.
I'm a scientist, not a historian. Pass.
Well, actually, being a scientist might have helped you on this one, because the movement that Mary Baker Eddy founded is called the Christian Science Movement. And I believe, John, now it's time for us to take a short break to pay the light bill, isn't it? Okay, we'll be right back, and we're going to talk to our contestants about stuff.
Outsmart Charles is made possible by viewers like you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our link to help grow our channel. If you want to further support the show or have access to bonus content, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/OutsmartCharles.
Okay, welcome back to Outsmart Charles. Let's learn a little bit more about our contestants. I'm going to ask each contestant if they were the owner of Jim Henson's Muppets, which I guess right now is Disney, and they could make a Muppet movie about any existing movie, what would they choose and how would they cast it?
I had this really crazy thought. John Wick with Kermit as John Wick.
Does it also have Rolf the dog in it?
He bites the dust pretty early, I would say.
Any other surprise casting choices in that one?
Replace Lawrence Fishburne with the Swedish Chef.
You flirgen.
Maybe The Matrix with Kermit as Neo. And I want to see Beaker as Agent Smith and just have 1,000 Beakers running around.
Okay, wait a minute. The Matrix has Lawrence Fishburne in it too, doesn't it?
What?
Whoa.
Do you stick with the Swedish Chef as Lawrence Fishburne in The Matrix?
I'd probably go with Rolf.
Flurgen, Matrix. You're flurgen.
Yeah, I think I like Rolf for that part.
But how can we have Rolf in Muppet Matrix if we killed him off in Muppet John Wick?
Movie magic.
I still like the idea of Back to the Future. And I definitely think Kermit and Miss Piggy need to be the mom and dad roles. So I can't figure out who needs to be Marty, though.
Who's going to be Doc?
I think Doc should probably be Gonzo. That just sounds fun to me.
What if Doc was the Swedish Chef? You flurgen, great Scott. You flurgen, 1985. You flurgen, flux capacitor.
Well, you always need one human. I might not be able to recast Doc at the same time, so...
and who are you going to have as Biff Tannen?
Eagle, that's what I was saying. The
Eagle,
guy.
definitely Eagle.
Hear me out on this. I think the human should be Biff Tannen.
I don't like that.
We're going to make Hill Valley great again. You know that in Back to the Future 2 and 3, Biff Tannen was based on Donald Trump.
Oh my.
Let's take a look at what's left on the board. And of course, since it's the last three categories, each category's going to be worth double. It's Amy's board. So Amie, you get to choose between British history, It's Not Easy Being Green, or Dead White Guys.
Let's try for the dead white guys.
This Italian who discovered 4 moons of Jupiter and researched falling bodies has been dead for 370 years.
Galileo?
That's correct. This president, who promised a chicken in every pot, was defeated for re-election in 1932 and died in 1964.
Wilson Woodrow? I'm not certain.
Nope, Woodrow Wilson was a little earlier.
Okay.
Alyssa.
I established before, I'm not a historian. Pass.
Well, I am. In case I don't know if you've all watched this. I am a historian. Tony.
Pass.
Sorry, the correct answer was Herbert Hoover. One of the runners profiled in Chariots of Fire, he became a missionary and died in the Japanese-occupied China during World War II.
Pass.
Alyssa?
Pass.
Tony?
Pass.
Nobody's ever seen Chariots of Fire. We were looking for Eric Liddell. Alyssa, your options are British history or It's Not Easy Being Green.
British history, and it's probably going to be more dead white guys, huh?
Well, yes. Unfortunately, British history is mostly dead white guys and dead other people all around the world to the British. Coventry Cathedral was bombed and leveled during this war.
The Great War? World War One?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Well, I gotta say World War II.
That's correct, Tony. After the fall of France to the Nazis in 1940, the British Army was evacuated back to England during this battle.
Pass.
Tony,
Dunkirk?
that's correct. You better watch out, Alyssa. Looks like Tony's making a comeback.
Ooh.
On August 8th, 1588, the British beat back this naval force attempting to overthrow Queen Elizabeth I.
Well, they're always fighting with the French, so I'm going to guess French.
I'm sorry, it wasn't the French this time.
I'm gonna say Spain.
Do we want more specificity, John? I think we want the specific name of the group.
The Spanish Armada.
That's correct.
Getting close.
And looks like Tony's in the lead. And we'll see if he can hold on to his lead on this last category. It's not easy being green.
I choose It's Not Easy Being Green.
I should hope so. This Muppet sang the songs It's Not Easy Being Green and Rainbow Connection.
Kermit.
That's correct. This alter ego of Norman Osborn was defeated by Spider-Man in the 2002 Spider-Man movie.
Shoot. Green Goblin?
That's correct. Now for something a little more difficult. Green and Green constructed a famous craftsman house in Pasadena for this soap magnate.
Pass.
Amie.
Palmolive?
No. Alyssa.
Proctor.
Oh, you're so close, Alyssa. It wasn't Proctor, it was Gamble. Also, fun fact, Green and Green, one of the Greens was Charles Sumner Green, named for Charles Sumner. Now, according to my mom, I'm named for Charles Sumner Green. According to my dad, I'm named for my great-grandfather. Let's take a look at those scores, why don't we, John? Amie has 11, Alyssa has 60, and Tony with 103 will be facing me in the final round. We'll see what happens after this commercial break.
Think you can outsmart me? I don't think so. But if you want to try, go to bit.ly/outsmartcharles and fill out our contestant submission form. We're always looking for new challengers.
Welcome back to Outsmart Charles. Now time for the final round. Tony taking back on Charles, a rematch from the first episode of the first iteration of Outsmart Charles.
In both episodes, Tony had come from behind victories.
That's what she said.
Okay, just cut where I say in both episodes and instead say, in both episodes, Tony rallied to win the game.
Let's see tonight's final round categories. 1850s in America, most things to do with the NBA, horror movies, languages, and survivalist type things. Tony, you've got first choice.
Ooh, let's start it off with horror movies.
This 1991 movie is considered to be the only horror movie to win the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to pass.
Oh, I'll give you a free guess on this one. So I restate for the rules. There are no negative points for wrong guesses in the final round.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6.
Incorrect. Charles.
Is it The Silence of the Lambs?
That is correct.
Uh,
Danny Torrance is warned to stay out of room 237 in this horror classic.
The Shining.
That is correct. This legendary horror director brought us such classics as The Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, and The People Under the Stairs.
Pass.
Do you have a random name you want to throw out? Try it out.
Oh, Wes Craven.
Good thing I let you try. That is correct.
I was gonna guess Tim Burton.
It probably would have been easier if I'd put Nightmare on Elm Street, but or Scream.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be worth 15 points. All right. According to the poster for the 1984 movie, what is a chud?
A crazy human underwater dweller.
That is not right. Charles?
Is it? Oh, God! Some sort of university dance? Is it a? Chauncey Hosford University dance?
I like that, but Tony was a little closer with it. Is a cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
Yeah.
Cannibalistic. The plot of the 2019 film Vivarium mimics the lifestyle of what bird depicting in the opening scene?
Ooh. I have not seen that. Hummingbird?
No. Charles?
Haven't seen it either. Canary?
No, it is the cuckoo.
Oh, so it ends with somebody somebody escaping from a mental asylum after his friend throws a giant fountain through a window.
No, that's about the one that flew over the cuckoo's nest, not the cuckoo itself. All right, Charles.
Let's go the 1850s in America.
The Compromise of 1850 delayed this war by a decade.
The American Civil War.
That's correct. On July 5th, 1852, this abolitionist leader delivered the speech, The Meaning of July 4th for the Negro, in Rochester, New York.
Frederick Douglass.
That's correct.
The What to the Slave is the 4th of July speech.
The Native American Party, renamed the American Party and better known as the Know Nothings, failed to elect what two presidential nominees in 1852 and 1856?
Who did they nominate in 1852? Who did they nominate in 1852? I'm going to say Millard Fillmore was 1856. Was it Winfield Scott in 1852?
I'm sorry, Tony, for the steal.
Abraham Lincoln and George Washington.
All right, Charles was a little closer that time. That would be Jacob Broom and Millard Fillmore. The 2002 film Gangs of New York features Daniel Day-Lewis as a fictionalized version of what real-life know-nothing leader?
You and Know Nothingism. Who was Know Nothing in New York? What's that guy's name? Completely blanking on this guy's name. Oh, God, what is that guy's name? Is it Plunkett?
No, I'm sorry, Tony.
Pontius Pilate.
Oh no. Would it help if I told you Daniel Day-Lewis's character's name, Bill the Butcher? His last name was changed in the show, or in the movie, but I'm looking for William Poole.
Oh, yeah.
This man was the first American to successfully drill for oil in 1859.
I know where it was. Was it? It was in Titusville, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to say Titus.
Oh, incorrect. Tony.
I don't know, Rockefeller?
No. Is Edwin Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Drake.
The William
Drake.
drill. Mhm.
Oh, I'm behind after one category.
All right, Tony.
Let's keep going down the line to languages.
Languages. All right. An interestingly broad topic, but hey, you chose it. This artifact, dated to 196 BC, is inscribed with a decree in ancient Greek, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and Demotic script.
The Rosetta Stone?
That is correct. This dead language of Rome contributes roots to French, Spanish, and English, among others.
Latin?
Correct.
I'm in trouble.
In Spanish, this language is Alemán.
German?
Correct.
Now, if I'd gotten that question instead of who was the 1852 nominee of the Know Nothing Party, I'd have way more points by now.
In Japanese, this language is Nihon.
Well, Nihon also means Japan or Japanese.
Correct. Japanese. Namarie is the longest poem written by J.R.R. Tolkien in this Elvish language.
Oh, man. Elvish. Gotta pass.
Yeah, the name of the language was did get an official name later on. So it is not called Elvish. Any other guess at that or just pass?
No, pass. I have no clue.
Charles?
I don't have much of a clue either. Is it Slimerian?
No, it is Quenya.
Oh, not even. Okay.
Quenya.
Oh, I'm
Guess
in
you don't know
trouble.
your languages that well, Tony.
Well, the question is he fluent in JavaScript as well as Klingon? Well, I guess we'll see how much I know about the NBA.
I'm guessing quite a bit.
Well, one thing's for sure, it worked for me last time.
I didn't realize field goal was a basketball term, but this man holds the record for the most attempted and made in the regular season.
In a single regular season, Wilt Chamberlain.
In overall.
Overall is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. A single season is Wilt Chamberlain.
All right. I'm glad I got the clarification there, Charles. This player holds the all-time regular season record for assists and steals.
And the record for shortest shorts, John Stockton.
Who wears short shorts?
John Stockton wears short shorts.
John Stockton played for the Utah Jazz, a team whose name made more sense when they started in New Orleans. In what year?
1974.
Didn't even have time to hit the timer. Right. In 1974, what two teams lost the conference finals to the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks?
The Boston Celtics defeated the New York Knicks. The Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Chicago Bulls.
Why, that's correct, Charles. Given how quickly you answered that one, you might have good luck with this one. In the 1974 conference semifinals, the Knicks beat a team by what name?
The Capital Bullets. That was the only year the Capital Bullets existed. They moved from Baltimore the year previously and began playing in an arena near the Beltway in Landover, Maryland. Capitol Center, which was later renamed U.S. Air Center and has since been torn down and is now a shopping mall.
And and also, yeah, the Capital Bullets, I just thought was a terrible name for a team as well.
That's why it only lasted one season. The next year, they renamed themselves the Washington Bullets. And then in 1997, it took until 1997 to realize maybe you shouldn't name a team the Bullets. And they renamed themselves to the Washington Wizards.
And I believe that's our game.
Yes, somehow I saved face by knowing a lot of random about the NBA. even though I don't know the movie Gangs of New York. I know nothing about the know-nothings, except that they know nothing. Now, had you asked me the vice presidential nominee of the know-nothings in 1856, I would have said Andrew Jackson Donaldson. Well, Tony, I'm sorry you did not outsmart me today. You're 0 for 2 on outsmarting me. Better luck next time. And tune in next week for another episode of Outsmart Charles.